If you don't know these 5 things, you're absolutely going to crash and burn when you get to the exam, and you might never become a realtor. If you're new here, I'm Shiva. I've been a realtor in Ontario for almost 2 years now, and I've helped over 500 students get their real estate license. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things that you absolutely must know for your real estate exam for course 1. If you are currently struggling with your exams, I do host both private and group tutoring sessions, and so if you're interested in that, you can check the links out below. The first concept you need to know is joint tenancy. Joint tenancy is where you own a property with other people. However, when you die, your interest in the property gets transferred to the other owners. That means if I own a property 50-50 with somebody else, and let's say I were to die, then my 50% interest would not stay with me, and the other owner would now get 100% of the property. Now, this type of ownership has very specific rules to make everything work, and that is that 4 things need to be equal. That is possession, that is interest, that is title, and time. PITT, 4 things, they all need to be equal in joint tenancy. This means that all the owners have to own the property equally, they all have to be on the title, and they all have to have started the ownership at the exact same time. Only if those 4 things are equal, then does rights of survivorship work, and then is joint tenancy legal. Now, there is a second form of joint tenancy which we call tenants in common. Tenants in common has no rights of survivorship, meaning if I own a 50-50 property with somebody else and I were to die, then my 50% interest in the property would stay with me, and I would actually be able to give it to my estate, my kids, and whoever I said on my will. If you are studying course 1, then this is a concept you'll see in modules 1 to 3, and this is something that is usually very, very common on the real estate exam. Okay, number 2 is a surveyor's real property report, and this is actually from module 4. This is a report given to us by a surveyor, and it shows all the boundaries of the property, the location, the dimensions, what's beside it, what's near it, and what's on the property itself. This is going to include stuff like bushes and trees and all the sizing measurements exactly in terms of feet of the building and the entrance of the driveway and the garage, the placement of the building itself. And so really it's just a visual of the entire property of what does it actually look like. And so on the screen here, you'll see that it pretty much looks like an outside floor plan of a property in terms of the building itself and the exterior portion in terms of that actual property's dimensions. Now, this is a report certified by an Ontario land surveyor and is not legal unless an Ontario land surveyor actually does it and gives you the stamp that it's all good to go. It's mostly used for residential houses and sometimes is required, although most of the time it's something that's just optional. Now, the picture I showed you is actually called a plan of survey, and that is only one part of the surveyor's real property report. The surveyor's real property report has a second part, which is called the written report. And the written report is pretty much the exact same thing that we saw visually on the plan of survey, but it's basically going to give us everything in a written form. So again, keep in mind there are 4 surveys throughout module 4 in terms of the plan of survey, the plan of subdivision, the R plan, and the surveyor's real property report. But if out of all 4 of those surveys, the surveyor's real property report is by far the most important and probably the most tested on your real estate exam. Okay, the third topic is exceptions to registration. These are people like assistants who are not realtors themselves, they're not licensed, but they're still allowed to do certain things involved in a real estate transaction. And so it is your job for the exam to know what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So there's many things that they can and can't do, but the main idea is that an unregistered person can do general back-end activities to help a real estate transaction progress, but they cannot be directly involved in any client or customer facing activity. And so some things they can do is they can set up listing files for the realtor, they can schedule appointments for the realtor, they can draft offers under the direction of a salesperson, but they cannot do anything client or customer facing, such as open houses, showings, negotiating, explaining, giving advice to different clients. None of that is allowed. And so keep in mind, this is one of the most commonly tested things on the real estate exam, and you're going to see a lot of questions where they're giving you situation based, where you're working with a client and maybe you have to figure out whether this is allowed or not by your assistant. An example of something like this they could give you on the exam is maybe you're working with a client John and you're running late to the showing, but your assistant is at the showing before you. So you're wondering, can the showing happen just by the assistant until you get there? And the answer is no, because that is not an allowed real estate activity by an unregistered person. meaning it is not allowed by this assistant and they can only do back and facing activities. Meaning they would basically have to wait for you to show up to the house before you start the showing itself. Okay, matrimonial homes are homes occupied by married spouses as their family residence. In these scenarios, both spouses have equal rights to the property, even if only one spouse is on the title. This means that if I'm married and I'm living in a house with my wife, and let's say my name is the only name on the title, and I want to sell this property, then I still have to get my wife's permission, despite the fact that she is not on the title. This is something we call spousal consent. Spousal consent makes it so that whether both spouses are on the title or only one is on the title, both spouses need to give consent to sell that property. This is a concept you're going to find in Module 6, so study it well. You're going to get definitely a few questions on these. And also keep in mind the opposite side of this, which is called family homes and common law spouses. That is a little bit different, and that deals with people who are not married and there's no spousal consent on those areas. If you want more explanation, drop me a comment below and I can give you a little bit more on that. Okay, and on to the fifth and final topic. This is the Tarion Warranty, or better known as the Ontario New Homes Warranty Plan Act. Yes, it's a very long name. So this warranty consists of 3 parts. It has the 1-year warranty, the 2-year warranty, and the 7-year warranty. Each warranty covers different things for your home, and it starts from the day you bought the house and extends until 1 year, 2 years, or 7 years. The main distinction is that the 1-year warranty deals with very, very small defects, usually cosmetic or aesthetic things such as maybe paint chipping on the wall. The 2nd-year warranty, however, covers workmanship and material defects, meaning things like your plumbing problems, your electrical problems, or your heating problems. And the 7-year warranty covers major structural defects, usually things related to the foundation, to a load-bearing wall, or maybe to serious roof damage where the roof might be caving in. Now this all means that when I buy a house today, I'm going to get a lot of overlapping in coverage. This is because in the first year of owning the home, I'm going to get not only the 1-year warranty coverage, but also the 2nd and the 7th-year warranty. However, after the first year, my 1-year warranty expires, and now I'm only going to get the 2-year warranty and the 7-year warranty coverage. And then after the 2nd year, I'm only going to get the 7-year warranty coverage. And so be mindful of the overlap between the warranties, and be mindful of the questions on the exam of whether they're asking you what's covered in the 1-year warranty or what's covered in the first year of owning your home. 2 very different questions. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hoped it helped. If it did, drop a comment, drop a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.